Howdy, folks. Welcome back to another response video, but to the stuttering guy, Ricochet, and of course, you can hear my iconic coughing as well. Whenever my heart rate goes up for whatever reason, I start coughing for some reason. I have no idea why that happens. Same thing whenever I feel cold air or whatever. The point is, this time I'm going to do a video for Dantix, the based and awesome and super funny YouTuber who made those awesome Shepard plays videos, which I really do hope he keeps up. You know, Commander Shepard plays the game, and his friends watch him play, and they respond, and they criticize, and they give really based feedback, in my honest opinion. But this time, this is not one of those videos, though. This is one where he states his own opinion, and this, in his opinion, is Shepard's true ending. Let's see if he's based this time or full of crap. We shall see. Any and all humor, any and all criticism against him is not malevolent. It is completely for humorous purposes. Even if I'm right and he's wrong. Anyway, let's see.
Most people are wrong about the Mass Effect trilogy. In the final moments we face an impossible choice. Destroy the Reapers, control them, or become something entirely new. Most choose to destroy, some choose to control, but few embrace the hardest path of all.
Hold on. Dandix, my dear Dandix. First you say most people are wrong, and then you say most people are picking the red ending. That tells me right off the bat that you're saying that the red ending's the wrong one. Don't you dare be saying that, pal. Our purpose over the entire trilogy was to destroy them. And I get the feeling you're going to be picking the wrong one based on that thumbnail of yours.
Synthesis. This is what's best for the galaxy. It
Barf, barf, barf. That's all I got to say about that.
lets the Krogan live free of the genophage.
How do you know? First off, it's on automatic cure, especially considering it's already been cured in the first place. And second, come on, dude. Do you not see the
Makes the Quarian and
Everybody looks like a damn computer chip.
choose to destroy, some choose to control, but few embrace the hardest path of all, synthesis.
By the way, I cannot use the rewind button because that makes the space bar inoperable and complicates things.
This is what's best for the galaxy. It lets the Krogan live free of the genophage. It makes the Quarian and the Volus free of their environmental suits.
Whoa. The Quarians, yes. Because the Geth are alive in order to jumpstart their immune systems, but Volus, you do realize that the Volus are not living inside their suits for the sake of not catching any diseases. They're in those suits for pressure reasons. The Volus have to be in there, or they will literally explode if they are outside of their suits. So yeah, I don't see how synthesis will fix that problem.
It frees humans from disease and poverty. The Reapers also provide us the collective knowledge of countless cycles, and it gets Joker late.
First off, to hell with Joker. I've never forgiven that guy for his really stupid maneuvering abilities, or lack thereof, in the beginning of Mass Effect 2. He got us killed. And we should have had the option to refuse to go back and save his ass. And honestly, the presence of EDI makes Joker obsolete. She can be our pilot. That's my headcanon, anyway. Oh man. And there was something else you said, because I'm very forgetful. I go on tangents.
It makes the Quarian and the Volus free of their environmental suits. It frees humans from disease and poverty. The Reapers also provide us the collective knowledge of countless cycles, and
So that right there, the way you sales pitched synthesis should be the red ending, because you sound like you're trying to preach communism, pal.
it
Freeing everyone from poverty and disease. Promises that can never be kept.
gets Joker late. This and much more. The path as you making it.
And that right there is another reason to refuse synthesis, because I want Kasumi to get over her dead boyfriend. He's dead, and he's in one of two places from then on. But, it's now time for her to go on living and be a romance option.
A drastic choice for the entire galaxy, but ultimately, Mass Effect has always been about choice. Beneath the squad commands and Paragon interrupts lies a deeper question, one that defines the entire trilogy. Can organics and synthetics ever live in peace? Over the course of 3 games, we see this conflict play out in every corner of the galaxy. Machines turning on their creators, organics fearing their creations. A cycle doomed to end in the extinction of all organic life. Doom ultimately prevented by the Reaper's intervention. I polled your thoughts on the topic.
Let's see. Enough time has passed. Earth is not ready to know which Mass Effect trilogy ending is the most canon. Canon with 2 ends? Dude, we're not shooting anybody with that thing. It's control. Aha. Destroy wins more than all other 3 choices. The other 3 choices combined. Yay. And shooting Starchild in his face. That one I didn't even know was a choice. I found that out by sheer accident on my very first playthrough. Oh man, that was so long ago.
And felt my reasoning needed explanation.
Though it wasn't because the choices were stupid. I mean, they were, but that wasn't the reason. I didn't like being talked down to by this kid. You know, it would have been so much better if the stupid Star Brat was an adult talking to us. Or, better yet, a Reaper. Give us the hologram of Harbinger like we did at the Arrival DLC, if you do it after the collector base.
Doom ultimately prevented by the Reaper's intervention. I polled your thoughts on the topic and felt my reasoning needed explanation. This video will do just that. Provide evidence as to why synthesis is the best choice, and I'm sure it will change many people's minds. We'll go through specific points in the series as well as compare the outcomes. Here's the argument. Synthesis is the choice that truly represents Shepard and his struggles up to this point. Admiral Anderson and Admiral Hackett, heroes, yes, but also soldiers. They view the Reapers through a soldier's lens.
We destroy them, or they destroy us.
They never saw peaceful coexistence as an option. And then there's the elusive man. A man obsessed with control, power, human dominance. His belief, the Reapers can be harnessed, turned to serve.
And who will you listen to, Shepard?
That suddenly reminds me. Imagine the villains of Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, and Far Cry 5. Can you imagine if, because the DLC, the infamous DLC of Far Cry 6, of the infamous Far Cry 6, has pagan men from Far Cry 4 being as the title of his story is Control. Well, then who is Voss? Is Voss Destroy, perhaps? And the Joseph Seed. Is Joseph Seed perhaps Synthesis? I don't know. What do you think? Tell me down in the comments below. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, please hit the like and subscribe button on both myself and Dantix. Please, this is all credit to Dantix. Thank you.
An old soldier stuck in his ways, only able to see the world down the barrel of a gun? And what if he's wrong? What if controlling the Reapers is the answer?
The reason why I disagree with both Dantix and Tim at this point is because, hey, this has happened a million times over. The Reapers kill everybody, end of story. It happens every time. It's like what we have to tell the young communists of today. They keep saying, let's give communism one more chance. It'll work this time. Hey, it failed the last dozen times we've tried it. I don't think it's going to work this time.
These men mean well, or believe they do, but their views are shaped by fear, by ego, by war, by the battlefield. Much like how we see the result of constant war and despair create a man like Javik. But what if they all knew there was another way? One foreshadowed throughout the entire series. One born of evolution, of transcendence rather than compromise.
Wrong, wrong, wrong. Synthesis was not foreshadowed from the very beginning. A very twisted and ugly form was talked about by Saren, but let's see.
There was another way. One foreshadowed.
Yeah, here it is. I go off on tangents very easily, and I forget where I was going to go the first time. Legion was written by a very different guy for Mass Effect 2. The entire original purpose of the Geth and how they would fit in the galaxy was completely rewritten for the third part because BioWare made the ultra stupid decision to swap out the writing team for somebody else.
throughout the entire series.
It was a group of activist hacks who decided to mix current-day political issues and philosophical trends into their game, which is stupid. It's retarded. It's borderline retarded.
One born of evolution.
And it just so happened that at that time, that people were raising a big hubbub over whether robots are people. I remember it back. It was 2011 when the whole thing was at its peak.
There was another way, one foreshadowed throughout the entire series, one born of evolution, of transcendence rather than compromise.
Oh, and one last thing. It ruins the game because it doesn't age well, because we have 2011 politics infecting a game that is the story that is set in 2180 something. And yeah, I mean, it's no longer talked about right now in 2025. So I don't see why it would be talked about again over there. So it's stupid. Putting modern day politics in a futuristic game makes it age like, well, worse than milk. So there.
There was another way, one foreshadowed throughout the entire series, one born of evolution, of transcendence rather than compromise. The catalyst, the Reaper's intelligence, offers a grim truth.
Organics create synthetics to improve their own existence, but those improvements have limits. To exceed those limits, synthetics must be allowed to evolve. They must, by definition, surpass their creators. The result is conflict, destruction, chaos. It is inevitable.
Organic and synthetic conflict is inevitable, unless something changes, and who better to choose that future than Shepard, an organic rebuilt by synthetics, the perfect bridge and the face of the synthesis ending. You see, when offered choices by the Catalyst, Destroyer is represented by Admiral Anderson. He's a soldier, destroyer be destroyed. The control choice is represented by the elusive man.
Hold on, Dantix, you're agreeing with everything this brat is telling us? Either you're indoctrinated or you think children are the smartest demographic of them all. Something's wrong with you, pal.
The elusive man was right after all.
Yes, but he could never have taken control, because we already controlled him.
Control being a means of domination and superiority. Then we have synthesis explained, but unlike the other two, it cuts to Shepard, the embodiment of human evolution. This ending is represented by him. Synthesis is not surrender, it's not domination, it's not the end. It's the only path where nothing has to die. If you play the game...
Nothing has to die. What about us, stupid? What about us? We want to live. I want Commander Shepard to live, go home, build a home for Jack, and make babies with her. Come on, man. What's the matter with you? Also, the person that should be representing synthesis should have been Saren. It should have been Saren throwing himself into the beam.
Well, and gather enough strength before the end. Ultimately, the destroy ending after some cutscenes will see Shepard take a breath.
That's only if it's perfect. And
path where nothing has to die. If you play the game well and gather enough strength before the end.
Oh, and yes, I know you're about to say that I was wrong by pointing out that Shepard was still alive. It's hard to believe that because Shepard, instead of shooting the conduit from a safe distance, decides to walk towards it stupidly and get himself blown up. And second, the rubble looks a lot like London. You mean to tell me that he fell all the way back down to Earth and crashed in London and survived again? It was hard. It was unbelievable the first time it happened in the beginning of Mass Effect 2. Because that rubble looks like London, not the Citadel.
Ultimately, the destroy ending after some cutscenes will see Shepard take a breath, giving a brief hope that he may have survived. This is a sign to many that this is the right path. However, I put it to you that remaining alive simply means his job is not done, and Shepard dying through synthesis may...
Well, no. Remaining alive simply means that he can now retire and rest easy. I don't want him to be dead, and I want Mass Effect 4, I want to play him again. I want to see the home planets. I want to see Thessia during peacetime. Okay? I want to be surrounded by my blue beauties, and I want to walk down the streets with Jack and whatnot. Yeah.
Done. And Shepard dying through synthesis makes an outcome that encourages lasting peace. Destroy is ultimately flawed. All synthetic life is destroyed, including Edie and the Geth, and untold amounts of technology, most likely sending us back to the Stone Age, at least for a while. Most of all, it reinforces the cycle of mistrust, a theme that the game strives to have you overcome all throughout it. Shepard, when told about the destroyed choice, almost immediately looks for another option.
There has to be another way.
Control is no
That's only because Shepard was hacked. He was hijacked. Shepard in the third game felt like a hijacked character. Shepard in the first game went the extra mile to make the player feel like they and Commander Shepard were one and the same, and I applaud that. The second game kind of ruined that by taking away diplomatic options, but the third game, that third game with all of its auto dialogue and automatic choices, even when you choose RPG mode, Shepard still shoots his mouth off and says stupid shit without our consent. Outrageous.
Throughout it. Shepard, when told about the destroyed choice, almost immediately looks for another option.
There has to be another way.
Control is no better. It promotes human exceptionalism and authoritarian control.
Eternal.
And what's wrong with that? We are humans. Da 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 da. We were the ones made in God's image, okay? Not the others. We are the top dogs of being special. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with human supremacy.
And authoritarian control.
Eternal. Infinite. Immortal.
It places one mind in control of all others, repeating the sin of the Reapers themselves. Shepard becomes a benevolent dictator over a machine god empire. As tempting as it is after playing the power fantasy that is Mass Effect, or even Warhammer 40k, it solves nothing. If AI rise to wipe out organics, they will be facing Reapers and the war continues. Maybe eventually breaking hold of Shepard's Reapery grip as technology will continue to advance.
That's one of two reasons why I don't like the Control ending at all. And the other one is, of course, because Shepard still dies and I want him to live. Simple as that.
The irony is Saren chose the path of Control in Mass Effect 1.
Control? Saren was a synthesis guy. Even that poll you posted had Saren represented by synthesis. What do you mean you picked Control?
As technology will continue.
And I have to rewind it a bit because for a second there I thought this was Legion. But never mind, he doesn't have the damage on the suit.
Continue to advance. The irony is Saren chose the path of Control in Mass Effect 1 and the Elusive Man in 2 and 3. Both shown many times to be wrong, and it seems the people agree.
Aha, right there. Right here. You bring it up again, there he is. Synthesis. And he said it chose Control. Pheesh.
With Control being the least supported choice, Destroy being the top, but I think this
It's too bad Miranda's the oldest human romance option at 35. 35, but she's got that lovely butt.
Comes from the fact many want Shepard to live, and I can't blame people for wanting more Shepard games, even if that means more conflict.
Damn right, you can't blame us for that.
Him living represents a job not over. The cycle will continue and AI will rise up to destroy organics.
In case you forgot, there are far more sources of chaos in the Milky Way than just synthetics. The Rachni War didn't involve synthetics. This also drives a hole in that giant Reaper AI's idea that chaos only comes from synthetics. The Rachni War and the Krogan rebellions and whatnot, they kind of blow that whole argument to smithereens. You need to watch the video Mass Effect 3 Failure at Storytelling that I managed to salvage after the original creator Zaid Magenta disappeared off the grid. The guy is back, by the way, and so is his passion, under a new channel called Diaz Station. Check it out. It's pretty good.
Synthesis ends the conflict, which is why it's the right choice. It's the only ending that offers a complete resolution to the organic-synthetic conflict without subordinating one to the other. Even the incredibly powerful ancient AI intelligence that has the collective knowledge of all the Reapers and civilizations before it says synthesis is the ideal solution.
Ever occur to you that maybe he's lying? This is a condescending child talking down to us. And do you honestly think that this child is not lying? This kid is pretty much the synthetic embodiment of Satan, and you're going to believe him because he says so. Get real, dude.
That has the collective knowledge of all the Reapers and civilizations before it, says synthesis is the ideal solution.
It is the ideal solution.
And it's inevitable that we reach it. When
Bullshit, as Terrence Popp would say.
comparing paths, it also is the biggest and most obvious, right in the middle. You could argue that the AI is being
The highway to hell is paved with good intentions, and the highway to hell is broad and easygoing. It's right there in the middle. The path towards righteousness is the one that is off to the side and narrow and hard to get to.
manipulative, but it also allows you to replace and destroy it.
And I do not look forward to being replaced by you, but I would be forced to accept it.
With control and destroy, so that is unlikely. Let's compare endings just to be sure. Note, I'm purposely not discussing the refuse ending, as it is very much the worst option. The first note about the synthesis ending is that it saves the Krogan race if you opted not to give them the genophage cure, which is a way of having the
Okay, I suppose that's fair. That's a fair thing.
genophage cure, which is a way of having the Solarians support you and maximize your war assets. Both Control and Destroy has a lone Krogan overlooking a planet of skulls.
Well, in this case, it's dead, and the other one was obviously Eve. Were they part of the same...
This frees the Krogans of their organic flaws and also allows
Hold on.
genophage cure, which is a way of having the Solarians support you and maximize your
By the way, side note, these are supposed to be night vision goggles, yet we don't get night vision in the game. Really stupid.
war assets. Both Control and Destroy has a lone
The one with Bakara and this one, are they the same outcome? Or are they two different versions of the Destroy ending?
Krogan overlooking a planet of skulls. Synthesis frees the Krogans of their organic flaws and also allows them understanding of other races, propelling them forward socially and allowing them to be more cooperative with the other races, counteracting the fact they were uplifted before socially ready.
It honestly sounds very utopian, and utopia is a pipe dream. Oh, and there's just one tiny flaw that you've so far not brought up. One tiny flaw with synthesis. The husks. What's going to happen with the husks? Can you imagine your friend, or hell, even you yourself? You are now a husk. The synthesis ending happens. You are restored back to your body, except your body's this hollowed out cybernetic skeleton walking around. And you look at yourself in the mirror and you realize, holy crap, I'm a freak. The Reapers have turned me into this revolting looking freak. And, what are you going to do with yourself? What's going to happen to you? There's a million different ways to ask the question that's going through my head, and I can't even begin to articulate it very well at all. Hopefully you get my point.
We see the Krogan rebuilding instead of fighting.
Even they will eventually live free of poverty and disease.
We also see that Edie and the Geth have survived, where they don't in the Destroy ending. Edie's name is on the wall, but in Synthesis, Edie also gives Jeff a massive, loving snuggle.
Yeah, it's nice and all, but Joker, yeah, screw him. I like Edie, but I preferred her as a mushroom cloud. Her getting a synthetic body honestly feels contrived and only done so that to really help push the message that robots are people in the third game.
Would actually now be possible between them, and don't you want to get your boy laid? There isn't such
No, absolutely not, and I'll rewind it because I'm talking over you.
survived, where they don't in the Destroy ending. Edie's name is on the wall, but in Synthesis, Edie also gives Jeff a massive, loving snuggle. Sex would actually now be possible between them, and don't you want to get your boy laid?
It was possible before the synthesis ending happened, though. I mean, her body is literally built to infiltrate, which includes being a honeypot if necessary. Oh, and one last thing. If I had $1 for every time I wanted to order Edie to reinstall the skin and hair her body once had, Oh man, I could take a vacation. Seriously, I was looking, searching throughout the game for the option to order her to do so, and it never arrived, and that was one of a million different sins Mass Effect 3 committed.
There isn't such happiness in the other two. As Edie says,
The war is over.
Hold on, you say there's no happiness? Really?
between them, and don't you want to get your boy laid?
No.
There isn't such happiness
Isn't such happiness. Jeff looks perfectly content right now, and so does Liara. So,
in the other two.
yeah.
As Edie says,
The war is over, and the Reapers are helping to rebuild. Where once they threatened us with extinction, they now bring us the collective knowledge of the cultures that came before.
And dear BioWare, why did you add so many of these phone booths to London? Seriously, the only way those phone booths would make sense is if they are the kind of phone booths that you see in the Futurama show. I will not say what they're called because that might get my video shadow banned or something. But yeah, the phone booths from Futurama, that's the only way they make sense. And especially considering what Canada is. Canada, which owns BioWare. Actually, no. EA is in Los Angeles. But BioWare still, by extension, a Canadian company. Anyway, yeah, Canada now has those kinds of phone booths. So, yeah.
something we wouldn't gain if we chose destroy or control. This will advance us forward thousands of years at a minimum to unknowable and unmeasurable levels. And look, everyone is working together with a smile. The endings flash to different crew members and that's mostly inconsequential.
I did not see any smiles there.
Except for Samara. Her daughter can now live outside of the monastery as her organic genetic flaw can be erased and no longer be a problem.
We're all cybernetic freaks. I don't want to go around having glowing green computer lights going over my face and skin all the time. It looks disgusting.
Arakyakshi can be written out of the gene pool. Kasumi, if you opted to keep the box, in control and destroy, she is lost within it, clinging to the past.
I really do wish I could, that I would not. I deliberately destroyed the data inside, not because I cared about what would happen to the Alliance, because, hey, I was working for Cerberus at the time. I wanted her to let go of the past so that she could be open for love again. Oh, man, I wish I could have taken that box and melted it. Throw it in the furnace, or in that waste disposal system that's in the ship.
At least in Synthesis, she can finally be with Keiji and her unhealthy obsession can be a little unhealthier unless she does a fry and puts her obsession.
Aha, so you admit that it's unhealthy. Good, 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 good. She's too young and beautiful and definitely good looking to waste her life, pondering over a guy who's long dead. And that hologram is not really his ghost at all. It's a very limited replica of him.
With Keiji.
It's like replaying a demo over and over again that covers less than 1% of the entire game.
Keiji and her unhealthy obsession can be a little unhealthier unless she does a fry and puts her obsession in a synthetic shell.
It's pleasing to see that you're familiar with Futurama, so you do know what I'm talking about when I talk about the phone booths therein.
Biggest of all, Quarians can exist without their suits, both on Rannick and everywhere else in the galaxy. Synthesis frees them from infections and disease. They can live with the Geth in a new symbiotic way. The other endings have them mingling still within their suits. Control has Shepard
All you need is a little patience, my friend, just a little patience.
die in a very painful, violent way, melting.
Let's see.
Suits. Control has Shepard die in a very painful, violent way, melting. Destroy has him pushed away with an explosion, whereas Synthesis has him leaping in and embracing the choice.
Just minutes ago he could barely walk and he had a hunch, he had a lump on his back, and he was in really bad shape, and suddenly he's able to sprint like an athlete. That doesn't make any sense at all. Feels very contrived once again. Second, this ending also has him melting away very painfully, just like in Control. So, again, you're not making any sense. Thirdly, have you noticed his arms look a lot like they're tattooed, kind of like Jack's arms? And that further reminds me, you need to look up the, what's her name, on Night Fable with no space in the middle, on DeviantArt. She made 3 beautiful pictures of Jack, who managed to chase him up the Citadel, and she sees him making a run for it, and she runs after him. It's a very beautiful trilogy of pictures. And of course, she made a very big Aftermath comic book. You need to check it out.
Control has AI Shepard explaining his purpose. It's eerie.
There is power in Control.
The choice. Control has Shepard die in a very painful, violent way, melting. Destroy has him pushed away with an explosion, whereas Synthesis has him leaping in and embracing the choice. Control has AI Shepard explaining his purpose. It's eerie.
There is power in Control.
That depends on whether you were Renegade or Paragon. There is actually two different synthetic endings, two different synthetic, Control. There's two different dialogues that he goes down with.
Embracing the choice. Control has AI Shepard explaining his purpose. It's eerie.
There is power in Control. There is wisdom in harnessing the strengths of your enemy.
Organics are being controlled by the idea of Shepard. He may be working with them for now, but organics are still clearly under control. Like Control, Synthesis has the Reapers beginning to work on repairing all the damage to the mass relays, meaning civilizations won't be isolated for long. With Destroy, every planet is on their own. Many will perish without trade, and it will be decades or even centuries before anyone can understand how to, let alone actually repair a mass relay. As the line between synthetic...
That's not really true, because in case you have forgotten, Mass Effect Andromeda royally screwed the pooch by pretending that we could build a diet citadel in the span of only a few months. Seriously, just a few months. We can build a citadel that's about 25% the size of the Citadel. And if we can pull that off, then we can definitely rebuild the real Citadel in, before long. By the way, these reaction videos feel rather lonely on my end. If anybody knows how to do a group vlog, please let me know, and maybe we can do these things together. I'd love to check it out. Thank you.
Before anyone can understand how to, let alone actually repair a mass relay. As the line between synthetic and organic disappears, we may transcend mortality itself.
To reach a level of existence I cannot even imagine.
And that is the final and biggest reason why I despise the Synthesis ending. It reeks of blasphemy. I'm not in the mood to play God, and I don't like it when I'm forced to cooperate with others who want to do it that way as well. I destroy those kinds of people, because they always go to bad endings.
I cannot even imagine.
The final stage of civilization. With Destroy and Control, we have no idea what our future will be, but with Synthesis, the unknown is only how high our potential now is. And what is a more perfect synthesis than the one between Magic the Gathering and Final Fantasy? Yes, the beloved Final Fantasy RPG Series 6, this Cloud Kit, as well as below, who began his journey out of...
Yeah, no thanks. Never played it, and then really doesn't look appealing to me. Thank you.
Below. What's not quite as perfect is Synthesis as a viable ending of Mass Effect 3. It's foreshadowed and thematically earned all throughout the game. In Mass Effect 1 we see Saren, who began his journey out of fear, knowing...
Oh, so now you've corrected yourself, that Saren is indeed the representative of Synthesis. And honestly, he should be looking all Turian right now, but Mass Effect 1 blew it by making it look like, by revealing that he's already half Geth by the look of it. And so the upgrades he gets at the final part of the mission, I don't see what he did to himself, because he looks no different than he did since the beginning of the game. He should be looking 100% Turian now, and finally have all these changes, these synthetic eyes and that big fat synthetic arm. That should be reserved until the last moment.
What the Reapers could do. He hoped to control the situation.
Look at that ugly thing he's got on him.
Who began his journey out of fear, knowing what the Reapers could do. He hoped to...
Look at that fat ugly thing. And that, look, does he even have a stomach and lungs in there? Good gravy, how much damage he took to his body.
To control the situation. Saren says,
Reapers are too powerful. The only hope of survival is to join with them.
He speaks of unity, of avoiding destruction by embracing the Reapers, a corrupted vision of Synthesis. His flaw wasn't the idea, but the method. His cybernetic implants and eventual body reflect an involuntary, coerced hybridization, not true synthesis.
A union of flesh and steel. The strength.
Oh, sorry, I was too busy looking at his parts. Sorry. Say it again.
And eventual body reflect an
Them.
He speaks of unity, of avoiding destruction by embracing the Reapers, a corrupted vision of synthesis. His flaw wasn't the idea, but the method. His cybernetic implants and eventual body reflect an involuntary, coerced hybridization, not true synthesis.
A union of flesh and steel. The strengths of both, the weaknesses of neither.
He became a tool of Sovereign himself. The Prothean VI on Ilos reveal that the Reapers have returned every 50,000 years, destroying advanced organics and letting the survivors rebuild. Virgil says they know we are vulnerable, our technology is the key.
It's really, really sad that Mass Effect 1 was made in 2007, before the smartphone was a thing, and everyone recording videos and making TikTok and whatnot. Because right now, all three of these guys right now would have their Omni tools out and be recording video right now, so that this information does not get lost. And hell, even Liara, she could meld and pass on this what she saw to everyone else. Counselor Tavos, or Irasa, or whatever her name is, if you killed off Tavos, she can meld with Shepard and see this as well. Come on. Oh man, Mass Effect 3 could have been so much better. Oh well.
And so they wait. This reveals a stagnant cycle of destruction. Any option that simply delays synthetics, like destroy or control, might not truly break it. Synthesis proposes an evolution that ends the need for this cycle. In Mass Effect 1, because of the Geth, we have conflict between organics and synthetics. This continues in Mass Effect 2, but when meeting Legion, we see their side of the story. Legion says, "We did not intend to betray the creators. Conflict was inevitable. We tried to make it not so." Conflict was inevitable. Did we need a giant calculator to tell us this? We then continue unraveling the veil over the Geth in Mass Effect 3, wherein you see their struggle while inside the Geth consensus. Even so, the Quarians inevitably attack. If it wasn't for Shepard, it would...
The whole Quarians attacking part, again, felt like a huge, contrived thing that BioWare pulled out of its ass to justify why 5 whole missions are spent fighting the Geth instead of fighting the Reapers. And, of course, reducing the number of live Quarians. And, of course, once again, making it as hard as possible for us to fight the Reapers because we wasted our own forces fighting each other and therefore needing to fire the damn Crucible. We should have defeated them conventionally. We should have been able to defeat them conventionally.
have ended badly for the organics. Don't forget, Shepard is rebuilt by Cerberus using a combination of organic tissue and synthetic reconstruction. The result is Shepard. Still themselves, but this is more than cosmetic. It subtly primes the player to accept that a blend of technology and biology doesn't erase identity. It can preserve and even enhance it.
The strengths of both, the weaknesses of neither.
When talking to the Catalyst, a powerful intelligence designed to stop the conflict, it believes destruction of organics is a solution to conflict. It talks about its creators like they're beneath it. How long until other synthetics reach the same solution?
They said you betrayed them. That you turned them into Harbinger.
When they asked that I solve the problem of conflict, they failed to understand they were part of the problem themselves.
Boy, if I had $1 for every time that kind of logic applied to certain groups of people nowadays. They create problems, then they demand solutions, but they don't realize that because they are part of the problem themselves, that the solution might not be as possible as they think it is, or hope it is.
The flaws of their organic reasoning could not perceive this. They lacked the foresight to understand their destruction was part of the very solution they required.
We see Edie, an AI, evolve into a friend. Once unshackled, she chooses to help, not harm. She shows curiosity, personality, and even sarcasm.
I enjoy the sight of humans on their knees. That is a joke.
In my headcanon, and in a story that I'm hoping will one day be written, Joker not only dies at the beginning of Mass Effect 2 and Edie replaces him, but Ashley and Samantha are both on Horizon when the collectors attack. And when the collectors attack, they get both abducted and taken into their ship. And then we chase down and find the ship, of course, and it pretends to be crippled in order to set up a trap. And we're able to rescue both Samantha and Ashley from the ship before the ship wakes back up, and we find ourselves in a trap and we have to escape with them. And that is how I would bring Ashley back into the ship, and of course have her, rejoin the squad much earlier during the events of Mass Effect 2. And of course Samantha would, she'd have to get along working with Cerberus personnel, integrate with the ship. I think that'd be cool. And who knows, maybe she might start getting along with Kelly, or perhaps something else, because after all, Commander Shepard not only outranks her, but she's on his ship, and there's a convenient airlock nearby. Anyway.
Right. By the end of Mass...
And somebody suggested running down the line of Edie telling Samantha, crawl into my tight shaft. That was a joke. In order to get through the area to unshackle her. Because it'll be Samantha who unshackles Edie. So, yeah.
That is a joke.
Right. By the end of Mass Effect 2, Edie has earned the crew's trust. The fear of AI turns into friendship, setting up Mass Effect 3's deeper theme, synthetics can evolve. She also develops a relationship with Joker, which is one of the strongest examples of synthetic organic trust. This is escalated by the best outcome of the Geth and Quarian War, Peace, in which the Geth welcome the Quarians home and help them rebuild, the species growing together. The Geth help rebuild Rannoch. Tali sees a future with her people and the synthetics they once feared. Legion sacrifices himself not for victory, but for identity, becoming fully realized as an individual at the end.
I know.
That was not the original idea. Come on, Dantix, you need to give us your thoughts. You need to research thoroughly and give your thoughts to us about the original script for Mass Effect 3, the one that was created by the original writers.
Legion sacrifices himself not for victory, but for identity, becoming fully realized as an individual at the end.
I know, Tali. But thank you.
Before it sacrificed itself, Legion referred to itself as I instead of we.
This arc is a perfect microcosm of synthesis, two enemies finding common ground by not domination or destruction, but understanding.
Oh, by the way, in response to your video about Shepard plays Veilguard.
Legion sacrifices himself not for victory, but for identity, becoming fully realized as an individual at the end.
I know, Tali. But thank you.
Before it sacrificed itself. That right there is the true non-binary word. Just saying. They and them, that is a plural word, improper. It is the proper word. So there.
Sacrificed itself. Legion referred to itself as I instead of we.
This arc is a perfect microcosm of synthesis, two enemies finding common ground by not domination or destruction, but understanding. Javik says,
they serve a purpose, while we search aimlessly for ours. In their eyes, organics have no reason to exist.
Javik being the last of the Protheans, a species that failed without considering synthesis as an option.
Organics seek perfection through technology. Synthetics seek perfection through understanding. Organics will be perfected by integrating fully with synthetic technology. Synthetics, in turn, will finally have full understanding of organics.
Though potentially manipulative, the Catalyst presents a problem. Cycles of war are inevitable due to the conflict between creator and created, but synthesis removes the duality. It implies that Shepard, an organic enhanced by synthetic implants and possibly rebuilt entirely with synthetic parts by Cerberus, is already living synthesis. Okay, let's summarize. What synthesis offers is peace without annihilation, mutual understanding, a future where no side has to dominate. It's the end of the cycle, not by resetting it, but by evolving beyond it. It's not a compromise, it's transcendence.
Taking our first steps into a new and wonderful future, where organics and synthetics can coexist peacefully.
Taking a brief step out of the trilogy, we're already seeing the first humans being implanted with technology to make their lives easier.
That's one of the few things I don't like about Elon Musk, what he's doing. Integrating computer parts into humans, that is super dangerous, both spiritually and politically. That's very dangerous.
We're at the beginning stages of synthesis ourselves, and it's inevitable that we start augmenting to improve. This is because we've already reached the limitations of our organic bodies. Transcendence requires us to unshackle ourselves from nature. But let's stick to what we know about the trilogy. We shouldn't forget that all races use modifications in different ways. Implants for biotics, soldiers use them for better reflexes, and so on. Depending on your class choice, Shepard is modified too, even before Cerberus reconstruction. It's not something that the writers forget about. You even hear it in his parts booting up in this scene.
Shepard.
Here are my thoughts of the thematic consistency across the trilogy.
AI destroy, reinforce, control, resolve through unity, something else, paused. No, destroy destroys the Reapers, therefore it destroys the cycle of the Reaper War, because they're all dead. All the Reapers are dead. So this isn't really... Unless somebody decides to deviate away, because you do realize that synthesis removes all free will, right? And if it doesn't remove all free will, then there's literally nothing stopping the Reapers from rising again and deciding, you know what, let's destroy these little ants that we're forced to serve, or that we're working with. And because after all, understanding does not remove hate. You know, maybe I understand you. I mean, like, as the Al Bundy quote goes, women understand women and they hate each other. Well, if understanding can cause hate, then understanding will not stop war. Delayed under new master. Sacrifice Edie, Gath, die, and it's tyranny. Shepard becomes Reapers. Unless he was a Paragon, you need to listen to the Paragon Shepard's dialogue in the Control ending. Transcendence, Edie lives, Geth evolve, and of course Shepard is dead, and his girlfriend is now lonely forever. Player growth, ends like a soldier, Shepard becomes a god, who becomes a bridge. Yeah, so this feels borderline blasphemous as well. He becomes God the Father here, he becomes God the Son here, and here, I'm not sure what he's supposed to be here, but him ending it all, unapproved. He should have shot his pistol at the conduit from a safe distance like he could, instead of walking towards it like a dumbass.
So Anderson and the Elusive Man couldn't see it. They were shaped by old cycles, but Shepard is something new, a symbol of unity. Something we need because even though the game shows coexistence between Geth and the Quarian, synthetic and organic, the peaks won't last without some common goal and ending. It's inevitable that conflict will arise again. As the Catalyst put it, synthetics will advance and outgrow. If there is a Mass Effect 4 set in the future, we can be sure that it'll be well past the Shepard saga.
I absolutely refuse to have that.
As BioWare have stated,
Shepard's short story is complete. Well, Michael Gamble, screw you. Thank you. She's definitely won't be one of them. Yeah, screw to hell with you.
On multiple occasions.
And that show, the TV show I heard about, I initially heard it was going to be a prequel, you know, which explains the First Contact War, which I think would have been cool. But now I heard it's going to be set in the post-Shepard future, which, again, I object to because I don't like TV shows making decisions for me. I am 105% sure it's going to be full of political correct bullshit. And thirdly, I heard it's going to make FemShep canonical, which is also bullshit because, newsflash, male Shepard won the popularity vote by a landslide both times. During the on the 1-year anniversary of Mass Effect 3's release, male Shepard was 82% of the popular vote, and in the Legendary Edition, he still won with a 65%. And it's not because he's less popular; it's because most people who decided to spend their money on the Legendary Edition, well, they were the FemShep players, the people who like to spend their cash instead of saving it for better reasons. So, yeah.
We can also be sure that the Geth will play a role, as we can see hinted in the key art.
And I see a copy of the ship that looks a lot like the Tempest. I hated the Tempest. It's got no guns, and it's got no... I don't remember the name of its vehicle, but it was lame as well. Andromeda took everything I hated about Mass Effect 3 and made it a million times worse.
So what are they? Friend, foe, tumultuous ally? Is the Catalyst prediction correct? Have they been left alone only to rise up? All three endings can lead to Geth, but which one ensures?
Let's see, hold on. Unfortunately, let's see.
Common understanding. It's inevitable that conflict will arise again as the Catalyst something new, a symbol of
Sorry about rewinding it, but there are times where I lose track of where I was, so yeah, forgive me.
of unity. Something we need because even though the game shows coexistence between Geth and the Quarian, synthetic and organic, the peaks won't last without some common goal and some common understanding. It's inevitable that conflict will arise again. As the Catalyst put it, synthetics will advance and outgrow. If there is a Mass Effect 4 set in the future, we can be sure that it'll be well past the Shepard saga, as BioWare have stated on multiple occasions. We can also be sure that the Geth will play a role, as we can see hinted in the key art.
I don't see any Geth there, and what I saw in the other poster in the trailer, I think it was a Quarian, or perhaps a very thin Krogan. Hard to tell.
So what are they? Friend, foe, tumultuous ally? Is the Catalyst prediction correct? Have they been left alone only to rise up? All three endings can lead to Geth, but which one ensures they aren't a problem, at least for as long as possible? Let's discuss in the comments. Mass Effect does something bold. It asks whether we can grow, not just survive, not just win, but transcend. The story is not about defeating machines, it's about understanding that machines can change and so can we. By choosing the middle path, Shepard ends the cycle not through violence but through transcendence. If you want to pick an ending that represents Shepard, it's always going to be Synthesis. Thanks so much for watching.
Bullshit.
If you enjoyed the video, drop a like. If you didn't, take a breath and then drop a like. Why not? I'm eager to hear your thoughts below.
So am I. Yeah, if anybody knows what the what engine is being used for this, because it doesn't feel like it's the Unreal Engine at all for this cutscene. It honestly feels like this is a mixture of CG and live action, like somebody's really, like it's real. You know, kind of like Star Wars. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, if anybody knows how these scenes were created, please do tell me below.
Understanding that
Oh, and that thing about whether or not Geth will be part of the conflict in the fourth game. I heard a rumor that the Krogan Rebellion, there's going to be a second Krogan Rebellion. Apparently, Rex and Eve are not Rex and Bakara, for those who don't like the name of Eve. That apparently they were not strong enough to hold the Krogan Rebellion, the Krogan back. They might rise again. I really do hope my boy Rex does not die. But yeah, I did kind of dread the idea of curing the genophage, making them populate out of control. We need to find a way to reduce Krogan fertility without killing their unborn babies. That's the key. The problem is the females ovulate way too quickly. Make them ovulate only once every decade or something like that, not 1,000 times per one human year. That's the problem. So, anyway, that's the end of the video, and do hit the like button on his side and on my side, preferably. And if anybody knows, if anybody wants to team up and make videos together like this, please let me know. And I'm also eager to learn how to do live streams, because I'm an amateur at this. I am a huge amateur. So please help me, and you all take care and have a good day.